Hello everyone. Today in Mathematics Masterclass, we will be treating algebraic fractions. That is addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. Relax yourself and enjoy the class. Let's start with these first examples. Simplify the following fractions. A, 3 over 2ab plus 4 over 3bc. B, 1 over 4 open bracket u minus v close bracket all over 1 over 5 open bracket v minus u close bracket. So let's start with A. So A, we have 3 over 2ab plus 4 over 3bc. So this is fraction and it's addition. So what we do, we get the LCM of the denominators. So the LCM of 2AB and 3BC is 6ABC. So we are going to use 2AB to divide 6ABC. So we are going to get 3, that is 2 go into 6 will be first 3. AB to divide ABC, we will be having C left, times the numerator we have there, which is 3 plus. Then this 3bc to divide 6abc. So 3 into 6 is 2. bc to divide abc will be left with a times 4, the numerator here. So this will now be equal to, we are going to check if we have, let's first of all multiply this one. 3c times 3 will give us 9c plus 2a times 8 give us 8a all over 6abc. So we are going to check our numerator if we have anything common to factorize, and that is where you fix your mind. Before you conclude your final answer, you must check if the terms involved in the fractions are factorizable. So if you check 9c plus 8a, they are not factorizable. So you can conclude by saying 8a plus 9c all over 6abc. Now, this is just the rearrangement of this. So this will now serve as the final answer to it. With B. B, we have 1 over 4 open bracket u minus v minus 1 all over 5 open bracket v minus u close bracket. So this will be equal to, now when you have question before you decide, especially algebraic fraction, addition and subtraction. Now, first of all, check the denominators, because you are going to get the LCM of the denominators. Now, if you check the denominators, the denominator, the first fraction is 4 open bracket u minus v, while the second one is 5 open bracket v minus u. Now, v minus u is not exactly the same thing with u minus v, but you can make them to be the same in fraction. So what you do, you first of all make them to look alike. This will make your work very easy for you. So you can make this fraction v minus u to become u minus v. So how do you do that? So first of all, let's rewrite the first one. That is 4 open bracket u minus v. Now we are going to turn this place to plus. If you turn this minus to plus, you can rewrite this one like this. That is, you bring minus outside the bracket here, and that minus will multiply this minus. If you bring minus here in front of 5 here, it will multiply this minus here and it will turn into plus. So we'll now write plus here and then write 1, 5 open bracket u minus v this time. So we have rearranged the fraction so that the denominator u minus v and u minus v here can be the same. Take note of this. It looks very simple, but you must be very careful. Otherwise, it will make the work difficult or sometimes impossible for you to solve. So take note, anytime you have two things that are very similar, like this, they look alike, but they are not alike. In mathematics, it's not the same. You must make them to be the same by doing exactly what I just did. So we can now go ahead and look for LCM. So the LCM of the denominators now is 4 times 5 is 20. Then open bracket. Since the brackets are the same, you pick 1. U minus V, close bracket. So if the whole of this come into this place, we are going to get 5 times the 1 we have there plus. And if the whole of this come here, divide the denominator. If this denominator divide this one, we are going to get this 4 here. And it will multiply this 1 here. So this will now be equal to 5 times 1 will give us 5 plus 4 times 1 will give us 4 all over 20 open bracket u minus v close bracket. So 5 plus 4 will give us 5 plus 4 is equals to 9 over 20 open bracket u minus v. So if you check, there is nothing that can divide, there is nothing that can cancel out. So this will now serve as our final answer. Let's consider a little more difficult example. So we are dealing with example 2. Simplify the following fractions: e minus 2 all over e plus 2 minus e minus 1 all over e plus 3. So if we start, we are going to first of all get the LCM of the denominators, which is e plus 2 and then e plus 3. So we'll now use the denominator to divide the first denominator here to divide the whole of this one. So if you do, it will cancel out this and you'll be left with this one. So we now have e plus 3 times e minus 2. Then this minus here, you put it here, open brackets. Then we are going to use this denominator to divide this denominator, and it will cancel out this, you'll be left with this. So this will now give us e plus 2 times e minus 1. So the next thing is for us to expand the bracket. So in our expansion, we are going to get this e to multiply this e here will give us e square. Then the e again to multiply minus 2 give us minus 2e. Plus 3 to times plus e will give us plus 3e. Then plus 3 again to times minus 2 will give us minus 6. Then we have minus here. Write it. Then we are going to expand these two brackets. Because of this minus, we are going to open a bracket here so that you can address every other thing. So this e times this e will give you e squared. This e again times minus 1 will give you minus e. Then plus 2 times e will give you plus 2e. Then plus 2 again times minus 1 will give you minus 2. You close the bracket. All over e plus 2, then e plus 3, the denominator. So now we are going to simplify the numerator to get the like terms. So this minus 2e plus 3e, they are like terms. Minus e plus 2e, they are like terms. Inside this side first, in the bracket, and this one. So let's start from there. This will be equal to e square minus 2e plus 3e will give us plus e. It's just like minus 2 plus 3, or 3 minus 2. It will give you 1. So since we are having e there, it will just be e, or 1e. So we are going to get e here, or 1e. So if you proceed here, you are going to get minus 6 minus. Now, inside the bracket here, we have e square minus e plus 2e is like saying 2e minus 1e, or 2 minus 1. And that will give us plus 1, or 1e. Then minus 2 is still there. All over e plus 2, the denominator, and then e plus 3. So this will be equal to, if we remove this bracket, this will become minus, this will become minus, and this will become plus. So we have e square plus e minus 6 minus e square minus e plus 2. Like I said, if you remove the bracket, it will multiply this one and it will become minus e square. It will also multiply this one and it will become plus e, minus e. And the same minus will multiply minus 2 and it will give us plus 2. All e plus 2 and then e plus 3. So it's now time for us to cancel out. Here now, this e square cancel out this e square. And this minus e here has cancelled out this. We are now left with minus 6 we are left with minus 6 plus 2 over e plus 2 and then e plus 3. So this will be equal to our final answer. You see, minus 6 plus 2 is minus 4, all over e plus 2, then e plus 3. Therefore, the final answer will be minus 4 over e plus 2 times e plus 3. So this is what we have as the final answer for this question. Now let's consider a more difficult example, like wire question. 3. Open bracket m plus n close bracket square all over m square minus n square plus m square plus mn all over n square minus mn. So let's start. Let's first of all factorize the numerator here. That is m plus n times m plus n. Is the factorization of this one, you duplicate it. All over, this one is difference of two squares. So it will be m plus n times m minus n plus, plus the factorization of the numerator here is m, open bracket, m plus, if this m go into this mn, we are going to get n all over the n square minus mn. N is common, we bring it out. N into n square will give us n. So we have this n to go into mn, give us minus m minus m, close bracket. So after this factorization, we find out that there are common factors. So after the factorization, we find out there are common factors. So we have to cancel them out. Like this plus now, cancel out this one. Then, do we have anything common here? No, there is nothing common here to cancel. So we will now rewrite the fraction as m plus n all over m minus n plus n, open bracket, m plus n all over n, open bracket, n minus m, close bracket. So we also find out that the denominator here and this one, they look alike because they are not exactly the same. So we can make them to be the same. Take note of this, because if you don't do that, it will be very difficult for you to arrive at the final answer successfully. So what we do, we turn this plus to minus. Turn this plus to minus. Then we now rewrite this exactly like this. So this will now be equal to m plus n all over m minus n. Instead of writing plus here, we'll now write minus m, open bracket, m plus n all over n, open bracket, m minus n. So if we do that, we have gotten this value and this value to be the same. So we can now talk about LCM of this fraction. You know, this why we have not talked. We still have some factorization to do. So after the factorization, we have cancelled out the common factors. So we can now continue now by finding our LCM. And the LCM is about the denominators. So if you check this value and this value, they are the same. The LCM here now will be equal to, the LCM will be n first, open bracket, m minus n is our LCM. So we are now going to use this LCM to divide this one. So if you do, it will give us this division is n. So that n will multiply this. So we now have n multiply m plus n. What we have here is plus. So minus the same thing, we are going to use this one to divide this. And if you do that, we will not have anything left. We will have 1 left. And that 1 will multiply whatever we have here. Multiply this one. And you know, anything multiplied by 1 is that thing. So we are going to have m plus n. So this will be equal to, let's open the bracket. So n times m will give us nm. Then n again times n will give us plus n squared. Minus m times m will give us m squared. Remember, because of the minus, you introduce the bracket. Now, m again times plus n will give us, this our m is not fine at all, m squared. So m again times plus n will give us plus mn, close the bracket, all over the denominator, m minus n. So it is now time for us to remove the bracket from the numerator. So let's rearrange this one as n squared plus mn. Remember, mn and nm is the same thing. That is law of multiplication. Distributive law of multiplication is the same thing. That is, if you have 4 times 5, is the same thing as 5 times 4. 4 times 5 is the same thing as 5 times 4. The same thing, m n is the same thing as m n. So nm is the same thing as mn. So take note of that. So what we have now here, if we remove this minus sign, we are going to get minus m squared. Then the minus sign will also affect this one. We're going to get m minus mn. So all over the denominator, n, m minus n, close the bracket. So this will be equal to, now this cancel out the common factors, this cancel out this. So we are now left with n squared minus m squared all over n, open bracket, m minus n. This will be equal to, this is difference of two squares, so we expand it as n plus m times n again minus m, close bracket, all over n, open bracket, m minus n. Then, so if you find out again, you discover that this value and this value, they are not the same. So you have to introduce minus here to make them the same. So this will not. So we are going to introduce minus here so that we now have minus, open bracket. This one we now rewrite it as m minus n times this one. N plus m is the same thing as m plus n. N plus m is the same thing as m plus n. So take note of that. Then we can now write the denominator as n, open bracket, m minus n, close bracket. So this now can cancel out this because they are now the same. So our final answer, therefore, will be minus, open bracket, m plus n, close bracket, all over n. Thank you and God bless you.